Hey guys! The other day, Wargaming released a patch that added a new branch of American heavy tanks YOH. All of these tanks got an unusual look and new, unique reserve track mechanic, which allows you to remain in motion, even if your track is knocked out. In this video, we'll look at all the YOHs, and figure out whether to begin researching them. You also have a chance to win 1000 gold. To do this you need: like this video, write a comment, and specify your nickname in the comments. The winner will be announced February the 3rd, in the community tab. Well, let's roll. The branch of YOHs begins with 6th tier. On it is Pawlack tank. It's hard to say anything about this tank. The ordinary unremarkable heavy tank of the 6th tier. It has no marked pros or cons. No armor, no mobility, weak firepower. Plus you don't see the mechanics of the reserve track, because it begins only with 7th tier. But there are worse tanks on the 6th tier, and you won't be disgusted by this tank. So, playing on it you will have only one thought in your head: to pass this tank, sell it and forget. Let's moving to tier 7. There is the M2Y. It already has more or less good armor, which you can use effectively against tanks of the 7th tier. However, a big hatch on the turret ruins everything. This is a problem of many American tanks. The mobility has gotten worse. If the Pawlack had not bad mobility, as for a heavy tank, the M2Y has already more ordinary mobility, and rides like a normal heavy tank. As for firepower, there is nothing special either. Damage per shot is 240, not bad armor penetration. Medium accuracy and stabilization. And low damage per minute. It's also the first tank in the branch, which has new mechanics of the reserve track. In general, any discomfort when playing on this tank you will not experience. But you shouldn't leave it in the hangar after buying the M3Y, which at tier 8. M3Y. This is already a more serious vehicle. Although the mobility is still not very good. But the armor became much stronger. Gone is the bucket on the turret. The turret itself has 280mm armor, which is very good for tier 8. The hull is also well armored and is not penetrated by basic shells of tier 8 tanks, except for the lower frontal part of the hull. As for firepower, the gun remains about the same in terms of accuracy and stabilization. But for a tier 8 tank it's not so good anymore. Damage per minute with brothers in arms and the gun rammer is about 2700. This is already very good. In general, the M3Y is a pretty good heavy tank, on which you will comfortably gain the experience to research the tank at tier 9. At the 9th tier is the M6Y. The armor is not bad, but you shouldn't rely on it constantly. The hull is easily penetrated by premium shells of tier 9 and tier 10 tanks. The turret is strong and absorbs any shells. But there are two vulnerabilities: the collar under the turret and two pretty big hatches. Mobility is good. Although the maximum speed is low, only 40 km per hour. But the specific power of the engine allows to gain these 40 km instantly. As for firepower, you have two guns to choose. The first one has 400 damage per shot, mediocre accuracy and damage per minute. And the second one has 320 damage per shot, but with better accuracy, damage per minute and armor penetration. Which one to play is your choice. But I'd recommend the one with 320 damage. In general, this tank is pretty good heavy tank. And it's a good training before tier 10 tank. The top tank of the YOHs branch is the M5Y. It's essentially the same as the M6Y, but a little better in every way. The mobility is better, although the maximum speed is the same, but the specific engine power has increased. And M5Y also instantly gains its maximum speed. Armor is better, no more two huge hatches on the turret, now there is only one small. Its turret is virtually invulnerable. Noticeably better guns. There are also two of them to choose. With 440 and 360 damage per shot. With damage per shot 360 has much more shooting comfort and damage per minute. Which, by the way, is almost 3700. Frankly, the M5Y with all its characteristics is currently one of the best heavy tanks of the 10th tier. If you're still wondering whether you should begin researching the new YOH tree, my answer is yes, definitely. These tanks will give you many new feelings, thanks to reserve track mechanics and interesting gameplay. And the top tank, M5Y, will probably become your favorite. Well, thank you for watching this video to the end. I hope you found it useful. It's time to say goodbye. Good luck to everyone. And remember, don't play World of Tanks.